In this lesson, we'll take a look at the graph of an exponential function as well as its characteristics. Recall that when we first learned about exponential functions, we talked about the value of b and its requirements. So the value of b has to be positive, which means it must be greater than 0. So b must be greater than 0, and b cannot be equal to 1. So that leaves us with a few situations here regarding its boundaries and the value of 1. b can either be larger than 1 or it can be between 0 and 1. In other words, it could be a decimal value. Something happens to the graph of an exponential function when it falls in those boundaries. So if it's larger than 1, we have one type of graph. If it is smaller than 1, then we have a different type of graph. So what I want to do now is just take a look and see what happens when we have a base value that is greater than 1 versus a base value that is between 0 and 1. So we're going to graph two graphs that are a base value that are larger than 1, and then we're going to graph two graphs that are between 0 and 1, or in other words, fractional values. So let me grab Desmos really quick, and if you want to, go ahead and open up Desmos and do it yourself with me at the same time, just to get a good feel for what these look like. All right, so the first function on my graph is y equals 7 raised to the x. The next function I'm going to plot will be y equals 2 to the x, so 2 raised to the x. So if you notice, both of these graphs are going up to the right. If I go left to right, like I'm reading a book, if I read left to right, which is what I do when I read a graph, I read left to right. These values, my value of b, are values that are larger than 1. This is what I call a growth function. I am growing, all right? My graph grows from left to right, all right? So when I deal with exponential functions, I have two different kinds. I either have growth functions or I have decay functions. When I have a b value that is larger than 1, I will always have a growth function. If, on the other hand, I have a b value that is between 0 and 1, if I have a value less than 1, so let's say I have y equals 1 over 3, and then I want to raise that to the x power. Notice what happens to my graph. If I read left to right, instead of going up, I am going down. That is a decay function. So when my b value becomes a number that is between 0 and 1, then I have a decay function. So let's look at another one. Y equals, let's just do 3 over 4 raised to the x power. Again, I have, if I read left to right, I go down. All right, so you always read left to right. If you are a number that is between 0 and 1, you're going to go down on the graph, and that is a decay function. All right, so let me get this out of the way. I'll move it. Isn't it great how I can do that with this nifty-difty little tool here? So if I have a value that is greater than 1, so I'll just jot this down. If b is greater than 1, I was saying 1 and I wrote 0. I don't know why I did that. b greater than 1, such as these right here, then I have a growth function. Growth. Okay. And so that means I'll increase left to right. Always read left to right, just like a book. All right. Then if I am here, if I have a b value that is between 0 and 1, then I have decay. I have a decline, but we call it decay when we're working on exponential functions. And in that case, I decrease from left to to right. Okay? So further characteristics of exponential functions and their graphs. When we're in the form f of x equal to b of x. Now this is our general form here. This is when we don't have any type of shifting or any type of reflection or anything like that. When nothing else is happening, when it's just our basic general form of an exponential function, this will always be true. These functions will have a domain. We can look at these and see we have a domain of all real numbers. And if you're looking at these two graphs here, you see I have both scenarios. We have a growth scenario and I have a decay. Here I have my growth. And here I have my decay. Okay. And this would be written in symbolism, negative infinity to positive infinity. My range of my general form will be all the positive numbers. Which means I'm going to go from 0 to positive infinity. Or I might just say y greater than 0. Something else that you will see here is that the graph, regardless of which one I'm looking at, always goes through 0, 1. And there's a reason for this. Passes through oops, not 0, 0. Passes through 0, 1, because if you think about it, any number to the power of 0 equals 1. And if I'm raising something, y to the b, or b to the power of x, if I have an exponent of 0, then it's going to be 1. So if I use 0, so if my function f of x equals b to the x, right? And if I'm using x is 0, then I'm going to get a 1 out, all right? Because anything to the 0 power so you'll always have a y-intercept equal to 1 there. The other thing you might notice on this graph is that the horizontal asymptote is always y equals 0. So let me get a little bit more room. All right, so this is another characteristic. The horizontal asymptote is always y equals 0. That is, of course, unless there is a vertical shift. But we're just talking about the general graph, the general form here. But because I used the word always there, I wanted to give you the caveat. That is going to hold true for any of these. The other thing to keep in mind is the graph is 1 to 1. And has an inverse function. Notice that this would pass the horizontal line test. So these are two graphs graphed on one. So if you just looked at one of these, let's look at the growth function and ignore the decline function. So we're just going to look at the blue graph, forget that the red one is there. we would graph, or we would pass the horizontal line test. If we were only looking at one of those, that means it has an inverse that is a function. If we are graphing an exponential function without a graphing utility, which generally we're probably not going to do, but let's just say we're going to do this and we're going to do it by hand. It really isn't that difficult. We just go back to the old-fashioned way that we learned way back in algebra, and we set up a table of values. It doesn't take very long, so sometimes it is just easier to do it this way. So let's just go ahead and do one. We're going to do actually 2 or 3 here, and we're going to graph f of x equals 3 to the x power. And I usually just use the same few values of -2, -1, 0, 1. Sometimes I might add a couple on to the end, just if I need a couple more just to see what I have. I just evaluate my function at each of these values and see what my ordered pairs are. So if I want to evaluate at f of -2, f of -2 equals 3 to the -2. Now I have to remember that when I have a negative exponent, that can't be evaluated, so that turns into 1 over 3 to the second power. Hopefully you remember that from way back when, which equals 1 over 9. So that ordered pair is actually -2, 1 over 9. I can go ahead and plot that, and I'm just going to estimate about where that is. So there it is. I'm going to do the same for f of -1. 3 to the -1. Again, I can't have a negative exponent, so it moves to the bottom. 3 to the 1, which is just 1/3. So I have -1 and 1/3. So again, I'm just going to estimate where that is. And here is that 0. Remember, anything to the 0 power, this is that point that's always going to be there. So watch this. If I plug in 0, anything to the 0 power, no matter what it is, always comes out to be 1. And that is why we always have a point right here at 0, 1. I'm going to plug in 1, and I have 3 to the 1, and I end up with 3. So that last point that I'm going to plot is 1, 3, because by now I'm tired of doing it. 1, 2, 3. I don't really want to calculate anymore. So I can stop right there, and I can sketch this graph. So that's what I'm going to do. I just remember I don't cross this y-axis because that's my asymptote. And I'm just going to sketch this curve. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I know it's exponential, so it's just going to shoot right up there. And it's growth. Don't forget this one's growth because my b value is greater than 1. And that's it for graphing the exponential function. All right, let's take a look at one that is not growth. This one is not growth because my b value is 1/2. So b is between 0 and 1. It is 1/2, therefore it is decay. So I know my curve is going to go the other direction. I know that I am not going to go up to the right. If I'm reading from left to right, I'm going to go down. I'm going to go like that. So I can expect that as I'm graphing. So if I'm going to plug in -2, then that means my graph is going to, or my exponents are going to have to move my numbers around here. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. F of -2 equals, I didn't do a very good job with my equation editor on this one. My exponent doesn't look much like an exponent. All right, so there was an easier way to put this in, but let's go ahead and do it this way. So what I actually have is 1 to the -2, 2 to the -2. So they both have to move. So I actually end up with 2 squared over 1 squared. And that actually ends up being 4. So my coordinate is -2, 4. That's my first coordinate. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that, -2, and then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's way up here. Okay, that's the first point I'm going to graph. Next, I'm going to have f of -1 equals 1/2 to the -1 power. So That means I am going to have 1 to the negative 1 over 2 to the negative 1, which means they both switch 2 to the 1, 1 to the 1, which just means I have 2. So my point is going to be negative 1, 2. So I go negative 1 up 2. My next point is going to be 0. So here's that special point. Because anything to the 0 power, regardless of what it is equal to 1. So 0, 1. That's always going to be there. And my last one is 1. So 1/2 to the first power is just 1/2. So I get 1, 1/2. So 1 and 1/2. If I wanted to do another one, I could, but I don't, so I won't. So I know I'm just going to run along that y-axis there, and there it is. All right, so you go ahead and try one. Go ahead and try f of x equals 2 to the x. Before you graph it, decide if it's growth or decay, and then go ahead and plot it. Go ahead and pause the video and see what you get. Okay, this is what your graph should look like, and these are your ordered pairs. I added an extra one in here just to make sure I had the right curve. You can always do that if you want to make sure you know where to go with your curve. In our next video, we'll take a look at transformation of exponential functions.